boys.
It's the BOYSCAST.
The lads.
It's the BOYSCAST.
The dudes.
Prepare yourself for BOYSCAST.
The bros.
It's the BOYSCAST.
The homies.
It's the BOYSCAST.
The dudes.
Experience the BOYSCAST.
The boys. Cast.
At the BOYSCAST, we declared war on internet sleuths, and we'd like to retract that because now we like
We're
the
sorry, sleuths.
because the sleuths have brought us this piece of
A
gold.
gem.
The sleuths, the internet sleuths, and they have all these Reddit threads and stuff like that, and they managed to find the Idaho killer had a rap career before he got into the killing game.
Loose use of the word career.
Well,
but
as Danny mentioned, he was killing the beat.
he was killing the beat.
Yeah, this guy, and he killed this beat. And honestly, some of you guys, this is what the truth is.
Do you think they're going to be like, yeah, there's 5 murder charges? And they go, wait, there's only 4 people killed. Go, listen to this.
Exhibit, Exhibit E. This is sort of a cautionary tale for your buddy that wants to be a rapper and it's not working out. It's kind of like when Hitler, they didn't like his art.
Yeah, this is exactly that. If only he could have just found his career in rap.
If the rap thing worked out, he probably wouldn't have had to get in the killing thing. You know what I mean? But this is going to be the intro for this week. So this is one of the greatest finds, and we just want to pay our homage to the sleuths. We don't love it still that you ruined like 45 people's lives calling them murderers.
Yeah.
And that's going to be forever attached to their life. And
What was his
their
rap
internet
name?
searches.
Do you know?
Yeah, someone did know his rap name because it's on his SoundCloud. Dude, the sleuths are
Found the
finally using their
SoundCloud.
powers for good. They used his SoundCloud, and then they found that, and then they found his old handle, which attached to some old Instagram that has the same picture, and he used the thing, and they saw him promoting his own rap
You
career.
know what's so funny, though, is like they're sleuthing, but you're like, they found the guy.
Well,
We don't need, like, the cops are like, we don't need you anymore. We found the murderer.
They haven't found a new case to take on, right? So it's sort of like, yeah, it's the guy that the police are like, listen, it's a cold case, it's over.
Yeah,
Or
and
we
he's just
caught
like
the
he's
guy.
like the wannabe cop guy who's like the keener, like the security guard.
Listen, you got to play with you go hang out with your family. You haven't seen your kids in 6 months. And he's like, I'm not done. There's
He goes, listen to these raps.
This is I'm just getting started, pal. Every Liam Neeson movie, he always is a family member that he's not spending enough time with, but he just has so much that he has to do.
Aren't we all?
Okay, so this is our guy, Idaho rap, murder in the beat.
Beat
Boom, 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 boom.
Kohlberger.
Always the same thing that disrupts my life. Wonder when I'll change. I guess when the time is right.
Wonder when I'll change it. I guess when the time's right. Probably in 3 years, gonna kill everyone and go to jail. There's a lot of Easter eggs in this bad boy.
Hitting my range to change would be a fight. So I'm pacifist, like I'm afraid to get a bloody fist.
That's a bar though. I'm a pacifist.
Oh, he's afraid.
I'm afraid to get a bloody
He's afraid
fist.
to get his fists bloody.
Well, that's another Easter egg because he said,
Yeah.
I'm afraid to get a bloody fist, but he never said he's afraid to give a bloody fist.
right.
This is full of Easter
Bloody
eggs.
fisting.
My mind is pissed and I keep running. Why is this? When I hit it, always lose and stunning. Always gentle giant, no defiance, all build an alliance. And still think that I am peasant. I stuck in the future, but I'm never looking at the fucking present. Keep it up, act like you're all that. Here's a cookie too and a present. Led from a desert eagle, deagle's going louder than my motherfucking deagle. And your life, you get no sequel.
There we go. And your life, you get no sequel. So that's another
That was
Easter egg.
something.
Because he's talking a
If
lot
only
about
the
murdering.
FBI could have got this guy's raps.
In your life, you get no seagull. We be loved ones crying like some seagulls.
I imagine that we're not that far off from the FBI being able to like just comb all of SoundCloud and just to find these little just things. You go.
They're trying to make it illegal, though. That's the whole debate.
SoundCloud
yeah.
rapping?
Well, it's like, no, to be able to use it in a court of law
Oh,
or whatever.
right,
That's
yeah,
the
yeah.
big debate.
I don't think this is going to be the smoking gun on this guy.
It's not helping him, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
but isn't Young Thug there right now?
Well, I think that this is one of those things where he's going to get respect when he goes to prison because of this bad boy.
Right, yeah.
He's going to walk in and then they're going to be like, yo, that's the SoundCloud rapper. Yo, bro, when you did that one line, the really messy line. Hold on, there's one line that I like when he starts to, oh yeah. Always gentle giant notifying all golden alliance.
What Golden Alliance?
He tried to fit in a little too many
What's
lines
the Golden
there.
Alliance?
I don't know, but I rhymed with alliance, notifying alliance.
Yeah. I will say this. If you're an aspiring rapper, you don't have to produce your first draft.
You're saying this.
You can make some edits. And then
Danny says that now safely. He's in jail to his ops.
Yeah.
Danny's so fine talking shit about his ops now that they're
Come
behind
after
bars.
me, dog. Come after me.
And we're going regal. Yeah, you wouldn't be talking shit to a man who's going regal if he was right here in front of your face.
And we're going regal. I'm killing more bars than Fauci killed beagles.
So you're saying that you could have done a better job. Why don't you make a diss track to the Idaho murderer?
I will.
I don't really think what you did's that cool. Killing all these people.
Murdering, not cool.
Yeah, you should sort of stand up and be like, I'm a sleuth. I'm a sleuth.
Internet sleuth.
I'm a sleuth in the booth. Danny, that's your new rap is sleuth in the booth.
Don't fuck with us.
Don't fuck with us. So you don't want to fuck with that guy.
No, murdering kids in bars.
Also, so I'll just touch on this because I've always been telling these people that the comedy industry is the roughest industry. Other people talk about, being in the mob's hard.
Yeah, or oil rigs.
They don't know what it's like to be out in the trenches, people getting in fights daily. And you said you didn't hear about the whole Brooklyn
I did not
saga.
hear about this. No, this is news to me.
Well, that just goes to show you how just it's everyday life. For some people, for some people, this is a big deal. But for me, this is what I call life.
Just the streets.
So we're in the show, and there's a big black dude in the crowd, solo. It's a small show, Tuesday, 8 p.m.
Sure.
He's there getting drunk solo. He starts yelling out to the comedians. He's yelling this and that. One of those things where it was like, okay, but just enough, right?
Yeah.
So, and then the people were like, okay, that was your last warning. We're going to have to kick you out or whatever. And he stands up and he goes, I was helping the comedians. He goes, those comedians, I made their set better. And he's like yelling at the girl who works at the bar, right?
Do you think that hecklers, is that innate that they say that? Did they hear that somewhere else? Because they all say that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They're all like, I'm helping. You're like, where did you learn this?
Well, I guess what you're saying is you're saying in the heckler community, they all think we're friends of. He's in a group called Friends of Comedy,
right? But they're all individually being like, I'm helping the show. But you're like, where did you hear that?
Who told you that's true?
Who told you that's true? Because they all say it, or they innately are just born hecklers, and they all just think that.
He's born that way. I think it was a little more like this guy really believes that he's like a funny guy, which is always what happens.
Yeah, and drunk always.
Yeah, this guy was a mix of everything. Starts yelling in the girl's face. She goes, I don't care. They were like, we'll refund your money, whatever it is. We just need you to go. And she goes, oh no, take it back that you called me a heckler. I am not a heckler. So it really...
This is during the show.
Yeah, during the show.
So it's really disturbing the show.
Alex Carrot's on stage. She couldn't even... Yeah, she just basically stopped. So he's yelling and screaming at the girl, stop calling me a heckler. The guy who is basically running the show, who works at the bar, came over. And then he was like, okay, you got to go. We're trying to get you out. He wouldn't leave. Goes on forever, right? Eventually, they take it to the back, but still yelling and screaming where everyone could hear them. And he starts going, you know who my dad is, right?
Oh, no.
This guy
is his dad like a legendary heckler?
He was in 9 Steve Hofstetter videos.
Dude, my dad heckled Red Fox when heckling was still dangerous.
Do you know who my dad is? My dad heckled Lenny Bruce the day he got arrested. Yeah, go listen to the early Def Jam comedy. Yeah. Pause it at 7:55. That's like a close up of me. Of
See
yelling
that guy
something
running up and down the aisles? My father.
That was my dad. And my grandfather before him used to just go to minstrel shows and heckle.
He heckled in church.
That was when it was segregated too. It was a fucking real hard time to heckle.
Yeah, that was like when you really put your life on the line.
So he's yelling and screaming that. Then he switches from saying I'm not a heckler to telling everyone that they're broke. So he's going to the bartender. You're broke. The guy runs the show. You're broke.
Entertain fan.
He goes, everyone's broke.
Calling
right?
everybody brokies.
He's like calling everyone a brokey. And then he's saying, which is funny for it's kind of like, he had like a chain on and stuff, like cool black guy kind of look, which is like not who you would expect to say you know who my dad is, right?
Sure. Did we find out who the dad is?
No, but they said they might do some sleuthing of their own because when you buy the tickets, your name's there, so they might want to get to the bottom. Then he starts pushing people, right? So he starts, and the guy's keeping his cool, and then he goes they're at the front, and then basically he goes, "You would never be doing this." So he switched in a matter of 30 seconds from "Do you know who my dad is?" to "You're doing this because I'm black."
Right.
So then he goes into "You know who's because I'm black," and the guy kicking him out and the server will be like, "Yeah, we're both black." So there, and I'm basically standing there just like to add if this gets out of hand, then it's 2-on-1 or whatever,
extra
right?
Body here,
but I'm not really like getting too involved in it. And then basically, so they go. He goes from "You guys are all broke. Do you know who my dad is? This is happening because I'm black." Then they go, "We're both black," and he goes, "You're broke." He goes back to "You're broke."
How smashed was he? Like, was he like wasted?
He was pretty early, so it just couldn't have been that crazy, right?
Tuesday, right?
And then he starts saying, they're like, can you just pay your bill and get out of here? He's got like an $80 bill or something, right?
Yeah.
So then he starts being like, I'll fucking tip you $100 right now, right?
Yeah.
And then they go, okay, just here's the thing. You can tip
Sick.
whatever you want. Like, and then he goes, I'll put $100 because you got no money, right? So you think the thing, I watch him, he types 20%. 100 beans. He said $100 probably 6 times, then tipped 20%.
That's amazing.
And then eventually, now that he was in the main area, that's where everyone was. Like Lev was there, Andre, JJ. So now it's like 8 of us. And at that point, he like punches the guy who works at the bar. I'm not saying his name because I don't know if he wants it on record or whatever like that. And then everyone stands up. Now it's 10 on 1. And then now he's yelling and screaming at 10 people. And then everyone's like, yo, you have like one last chance to get out of here. And then now we're holding back everyone. And it turned into a big scuffle.
Real
and
melee.
The guy basically left and came back one last time to tell everyone they're broke. He kind of came up to the door and he was like, yeah, you all broke. So
funny because they have a security guard like out front who's like a pain in the ass.
Well, also, yeah, there was some comics there that were like definitely not broke. You know what I mean?
But also you're like, that club has like, it's like.
No, the security guard wasn't there. It was
okay.
It was the booker.
Oh, okay.
But he's sort of
there
doing
normally
both
is
roles.
a pain in the ass.
Oh, there's one girl
guard.
security guard that
Yeah, she
means
would've helped.
business. She's not messing around.
No.
Like Snoop from The Wire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well
so
done.
that went on forever.
Yeah, comedy's a dangerous game.
People don't realize that you
people
put
don't
your life
realize
on
that.
the lines for these hecklers. So probably the boy of the week that there's not really much more to say than that is Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah,
It's probably one of the G-est moves in history.
sure.
And so what happened was he is going to move into Saudi Arabia. And they've got some laws there that we've talked about it here and there.
That we're fond of.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you
There's
can't.
some laws
You
that
can't
were-
live with your girl, right? They are very good laws if you're not trying to get locked down.
Yeah.
And some people think that in Saudi Arabia, I've heard people be like, "Oh, it's because of sexism and they're so conservative and traditional." But the real reason is because they're such bros. They don't want anyone getting locked down.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. These are for the dogs.
Literally, when they said that, when they announced that law in the Saudi Arabia Congress, they said, listen, no girl's allowed to move in with a guy until he marries her. And then they all gave each other pounds under the table. And they all looked at their girls and they go, babe, what?
Yeah.
What am I, a criminal?
I don't want to be. I'd hate to be a criminal.
I'd hate to be a criminal. And so basically Cristiano Ronaldo's moving there and they go, you can only live together if you're married. They've been together 8 years. And then he petitioned the Saudi Arabian government to change the law. So for just him, he can avoid getting married and play there or whatever.
Right. That's a good deal for him. I wonder if that had any emphasis on him going to Saudi, because it's a weird move for him to go to Saudi Arabia. They are giving him like insane amounts of money.
Amounts of money. And when I think what happened is, that's what I was saying. He like basically went to the girl and he goes, babe, I love you and I want you to come to Saudi Arabia with me and the laws, so opens up the case and it was the papers that changed the
Yeah, the little document.
This is for you, and it's just a document that says the rules have been changed for you. He goes, this is how many hoops
So
I'm
we
willing to do
don't
for
have
you.
to get married.
This is why I want to live with you.
He goes, I really wanted to, but they say we don't have to. So she goes, what? We still could. He goes, no, not in a different country. I'm not going to bring my...
This is one of those things where he was with his boys. He goes, I guess I'm going to have to tie the knot. And he was like, well, unless you get the Saudi Arabia to change their laws. And he's like,
It's like unless you accept their contract with some club team in Saudi Arabia and then move to Saudi Arabia and then get them to change the laws, but that would be insane. It's like,
I mean, unless you're so powerful, you can get the Saudi Arabia to make an exception to the religious law.
he goes,
Get me the governor of Saudi Arabia.
He goes, I do like my stuff and my money.
Something which is currently forbidden for normal people to do. Unmarried couples are not allowed to cohabitate in Saudi Arabia. To be the most, it helps then to be the most marketable living asset in the country. So yeah, he made some moves, and I just want to say shout out to him. You know what I mean? And there's every guy doesn't have the ability to petition the Saudi Arabian government, but he does set a precedent when you go, if you want, like, you know what I mean? We can just never go to another country again, but I don't have the ability to petition the government. But my role model, Cristiano Ronaldo, when he ties the knot, I'll tie the knot. And that's how I live my life.
Yeah. I wonder if that has something to do with, because I've heard some rumors that Saudi Arabia is going to be buying the WWE.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
They're gonna buy it, and then I guess Vince is because he's getting on all sorts of trouble too.
That would be. Well, no, he's going to be back, I think.
But he's gonna move to Saudi Arabia.
Well, that was one of the reasons why they had to do all this stuff they were doing because they were a public company. You know what I mean? Like he had to step down amid scandals and all that shit. But if you're a private company, you can just give everyone the finger.
You're like, we're wrestling. Like, who cares?
Well, yeah, you don't have to
Scandal
worry about any
City.
of that shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think when Saudi Arabia, I think they're going to make some moves. Vince will be back and he's going to be like the Me Too guy. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's walking in like grabbing girls' boobs. Like,
Yeah, there's.
no, they're going to have the 3 new wrestlers. It's like a triple tag team, Me 2, Me 3, and Me 4.
Yeah,
And they
I don't
just
get
come
how
out, we're going to grab you.
I can't remember if it was Saudi Arabia where they tried to bring wrestling and like women weren't allowed to watch, like it weren't allowed inside to watch.
Do you think they bring back
Too
that law?
sexy.
Yeah.
Too sexy for the ladies.
Well, I think that, yeah, basically they've just got so much money there or whatever. But I feel like when that happens, they're going to bring back the woke wrestler, the bad guy. That was the funniest era. Like 4 years ago, they tried to bring back they had a wrestler that was like a progressive guy, but they made him a villain.
Yeah.
So he came out and he was like, you guys just all have toxic masculinity. Everyone's boo. Your white privilege is showing. He's
Yeah.
talking to the crowd.
Yeah.
And he just
That
gets his
lasted
ass
like a
kicked.
week or something.
Yeah.
I would have loved to be there for that though.
I wish I saw that guy.
Incredible.
Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe this crowd's a little toxic.
Yeah, asking everybody their pronouns. Time for a land acknowledgement before
Yeah. Then you
do
just,
the match.
yeah, you just get fucking destroyed. Okay, so there's a lot of little funny things before we get to sort of the big ones, but probably my favorite thing was, so in the body positivity thing, Selena Gomez and there's sort of like all of the celebrities sort of have to go through this where they're like obviously pushing all that stuff. Like, it's so healthy to be beautiful. Basically, girls love it when they like having standards where it's like, I would never date a guy that's, this tall and this much money and that and that. And then a guy's like, yeah, I just don't want a girl that's not a fat slut. And everyone's like, what the fuck? Yeah. Excuse me?
It's not very body positive.
So the actresses have to get on board with all this stuff. But then when it comes to them and they were like, yeah, you're exactly like you're like a poster child for body positivity. And they're like, what? I mean, I support it. And they're like, no, you're practicing what you preach. She goes, I do?
I mean, sure, I gained 7 pounds, but it's the holidays.
Right. So basically the internet promotes them in a way that they're super positive of like, they're celebrating her getting fat, but like the actress is like, I didn't get fat.
Yeah, you're like, what? What are you talking about?
So fans are applauding Selena Gomez's healthy and beautiful curves in a new bathing suit. And she essentially just posted a photo on Instagram just being like, yo, here's me like swimming with my friends. And every comment was like, yo, I love that you're celebrating positive.
Yeah, you fat cow, we love you. And you're like, what?
They're just calling her fat. And there's all these articles being like, Selena Gomez, healthy and beautiful. There's literally just posted a photo and the whole internet's calling her fat.
She's like, yeah, she looks like she maybe was 10 pounds above her fighting
Her fans went wild in the comment section. They're really happy that praising her bikini body, but like they're praising it because they're happy.
That is
she's
an
fat.
actual move, though. If you're like a famous woman, is like you pick up all sorts of new fans by just getting fat.
Just get a little bit fat.
Yeah, and they go, well, like you lose like maybe
you
some
lose the
guys.
fans sometimes when you lose the weight though. They don't like when you
Yeah,
lose
well,
weight.
you make them feel bad about themselves.
Yeah,
like
they get-
Adele.
Well, also noting how happy and carefree she looks. So that's the compliment she's
But she's
getting.
on a fucking yacht in like, I don't know, Italy or Mexico or some shit. You're like, yeah, she's pretty carefree. She's like just hanging on.
Do you think that you'd ever give that compliment to your girlfriend if you were about to go out for a date and she goes, how do I look? You go, super carefree.
super carefree? Like you're not even trying. What were you doing in there for 2 hours? You
Babe.
look like you just got out of the shower.
Yo, babe, that outfit that you just put on looks so healthy and carefree. Just grabbing her arms. You look real healthy.
Really,
Look at this.
really.
Look at that.
Not a care in the world.
You put that makeup on in the most carefree manner. That's the most carefree outfit of it. How would you describe this girl?
earthquake while the makeup was getting put on?
I would describe this girl. She's like 5'9", very carefree and healthy. It's code words. That is the new, when you're describing like a big girl, you're like, yeah, I describe her as healthy.
Healthy, carefree.
Let's just say she is very healthy. So they said healthy, carefree, healthy and beautiful, proud Latina woman. Latina women are blessed with curves. I love everything about her, raved another, followed by the red heart. So these people she likes happy, beautiful, and healthy.
Yeah.
So that's another one, happy. It's like, honestly, you look healthy, you look happy, you look carefree.
I mean, looking at these photos of her in her luxury lifestyle, yeah.
That's the other part of it.
You're like, she's like a mega yacht. You're like, yeah, I guess I would have.
But like,
cares
if you
either.
think about it, like the guy movement, imagine there was like a movement for like, dick positivity, right? You know what I mean? And you posted a photo and everyone's like, honestly, thank you for the support. And you're just like, what?
Did you see actually there was a photo of
our weak skinny brethrens, and you're like, well, I thought I actually looked good.
this dude on the Sacramento Kings, Kevin Herter. Did you see this? Or
No,
whatever?
what?
So there was like after a game, they like had some comeback win or something, and so it was him and another player. The Sacramento Kings just posted a photo, and he was wearing like they wear those like tights, and I guess like they was like from the knees up,
Oh,
and
you could see it.
and you could see it, and it was not a good piece.
Wasn't looking good.
And then then the Sacramento Kings like deleted it and reposted it cropped above the waist, but it was just like damage was done.
That's all way too late.
Yeah, way too late. And then when you like crop it above, you're like, okay, now like it just makes it worse.
And did he comment on it?
No.
He just said
He's
it
just
was
like,
cold out.
Yeah.
It was a cold day.
It was cold in the locker room.
Honestly, that piece looks so healthy and carefree.
It was a real carefree piece on Kevin Herter.
The face of someone living their best life unbothered. So that's another compliment, unbothered. Babe, oh my God, in that dress, you look so unbothered and carefree. Like, and what anyone thinks of you wouldn't even affect you. You're so unbothered by by beauty standards. I would describe that dress as unbothered by traditional beauty standards.
I guess it's like when girls are saying it, you're like, okay, this is a compliment. But if a guy says it, you're like, this is not.
Yo, honestly, I think that you're so healthy.
Yeah,
That
you've
girl's
just
so,
given up.
Yeah, you
Look at you.
carefree. You don't give a shit what anyone thinks. That's what
And
I was
people
just-
think a lot. People are having a lot of thoughts. that you don't care about
Describe their hair.
any of
Their
them.
haircut is carefree. Oh, that haircut just looks unbothered. You're not bothered by a single look you're about to get. She just posted a photo and everyone calls her unbothered.
Yeah, she's
healthy.
probably, and she knows exactly what all this means. She's probably like, yeah,
That's what I'm
not
saying.
loving this.
How could you love the entire internet being like, thank you for showing what a normal girl looks like? She's like, I mean, I'm supposed to be a supermodel.
Yeah, I'm like, it's not really meant to be normal.
I'm going to take a quick second to tell you about our favorite sponsor that I am wearing currently.
I'm also wearing them currently.
Danny's wearing 2 pairs because he's
Yep.
known to soil one. That is Sheath Underwear, a friend of ours. The brand is a friend of ours. I've been telling you about Sheath Underwear. Sheath makes the most comfortable boxer briefs you've ever worn. Listen, if you're out there with the ladies, you got your, you got the jeans off, you got the shirt off. You want a little bit fluffed up, you know what I mean? Of
course.
It's looking pretty good in these. It's the first with a pouch for the balls. When I'm running, if you have monster balls like myself, you don't want them. That's what we were saying before, that you do like them slapping on the leg. But you put the pouch in the balls. It literally revolutionized the boxer game.
Mm-hmm.
And the founder of the company, if some of you may know, friend of the podcast scene, a veteran. So this is the man.
Yeah, solid guy.
I'm wearing them as we speak. The most comfortable boxer briefs you'll ever put on your body. Stretchy fabric, and they have lots of different ones. I actually have. I got a pair that's a riffraff that he brought to.
Oh, really? Oh, that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah,
I like the longer ones too.
longer ones. They do have different.
The
types,
ones that
yeah.
are like a little longer, I'm actually really
longer
love
ones,
those
the bamboo, and they also have all different sort of models, and there's like a camo one. The sheath is particularly useful in staying cool during the summer and while working out. Most unique thing about sheath underwear is that they have these dual pouches that separate the parts, which prevents things from sticking together, keeps everything where it needs to be. Now, some of you might be skeptical, but it is a game changer. Plus, they have brand new materials like the bamboo, the mesh for more cooling comfort. So what you want to do is go to sheathunderwear.com, get the most comfortable underwear you'll ever wear using the promo code BOYSCAST. You'll also get 20% off your order. I've been telling you about Sheath forever. This is a company that we both support. Sheathunderwear.com, promo code BOYSCAST for 20% off your order. We got bamboo pairs that are perfect for all weather conditions. So the new website is super fast. sheathunderwear.com, promo code BOYSCAST. The Daily Beast has one of the biggest bombshells that I've ever, honestly, probably one of the biggest bombshells that's dropped since the inauguration in 2016.
Yeah.
But, so there's a lawsuit on Donald Trump, right?
I've heard.
Yes, and they've done some digging, and Daily Beast has done some sleuthing, and they've put together a bit of a case that the lawsuit reveals Donald Trump can't stand being compared to Hitler.
Well, then why doesn't he stop being Hitler?
Right.
I mean, it seems like an easy solution.
So I obviously, contrary to what this article says, in my mind, I'm assuming everyone loves being called Hitler. It's not your favorite thing. So apparently behind the scenes, a little birdie told the Daily Beast that he doesn't actually like it that much when everyone calls him Hitler. So this is some hot reporting from the Daily Beast.
Do you think from his perspective, it's purely like a brand thing? Because he's just like a astute like marketer and like brand guy where he's like, it's just like bad for the brand.
He doesn't think it's good for the brand.
He's like, I don't care, but it's just bad for the brand.
That's what he's probably saying behind the scenes. And then someone's, a little bit of a mole for the Daily Beast, and they go, I got a hot tip. You know what, though? Do you think this is one of those tips that they already paid for? Like they have an informant and he have one less contract for his Trump info? No, they signed him to like a 10 Trump piece of info deal. And this is his last one.
10 snitch deal.
This guy just wants to get out of the deal. It's like when a musician makes a bad album just to get out of the deal.
Yeah. You go, just crank out this piece of shit.
You go, and the person's like, listen, well, you have to run. That's the deal. We got a 10-story deal, and I give you the pieces of info. You get the thing. I get my fucking $1,000 everything. What's the last one? You go, well, he doesn't like being called Hitler.
Yeah, he's not a fan of the Hitler comparison.
And you go, really? And you go, listen, we got a deal. A deal's a deal's a deal's a deal. Right. And then they look at their pocket, the art of the deal. They realize they've been being played the whole time.
It is crazy.
I spent so much time trying to sleuth on him that picked up a little bit of art of deal making myself.
I wonder how many times, we could probably find this out. It would take some time, but how many times Daily Beast has compared him to Hitler?
Well, that's even so funny because in the article, the article starts by being like, he can't be compared. He hates being compared to Hitler, which seems like it's going to be an article of like, he's so petty, this thing actually drives him nuts. But the whole article is like, why would he hate it? It's true.
Yeah.
They go, the new lawsuit reveals how much he hates being compared to Adolf Hitler. And they put Adolf in brackets for some reason. Former President Donald Trump.
Not to be confused with Ron Hitler.
They literally said compared to Adolf Hitler. Why is Adolf in brackets?
This isn't journalism, is why. This is like this. Chat GPT could crank this thing out in 2 seconds.
Chat GPT's definitely, this is going to be taking over these jobs. Former President Trump is doubling down on his I am not Hitler defamation lawsuits, according to CNN, by adopting the Nazi strategy of attacking journalism.
Their Daily Beast is like, CNN said it. CNN said it. That's not us. CNN said it.
No, they're saying that this part, he's suing CNN.
Yeah, but he's saying CNN saying.
So Don Lemon basically kept calling him Hitler, and then Trump suing, being like, I'm not. So obviously, you owe me some cash.
Yeah, I guess so.
And then the basically Daily Beast is saying like, suing someone for calling you Hitler. I know a little someone who would do that. I think they're jealous that they're not getting sued for calling him Hitler. They must be a little bit when Daily Beast, it's Donald Trump's like, I'm suing CNN for calling us Hitler. And their Daily Beast is like, hello, we called you Hitler way more than they did.
I feel like if he hasn't won any sort of defamation suits at this point, like he's not.
Right. Maybe,
like if you are like, unless you're winning one of these a week, like I don't think you're going to win one.
Has he ever won one?
Maybe like when it was before he was so hated. Like I imagine maybe he won one, in the 90s. I could be wrong, but it feels like now you're like, I don't know, he could bring 1 million of these.
Yeah. Well, it does force him to get a lawyer and go to jail or whatever. And his paper has claimed without irony that Americans were split when asked if the media is the enemy of democracy. I mean, how is that not true?
That is true.
Yeah, people are pretty split on that.
Yeah.
But
the trust in mainstream media is like lowest it's ever been.
The memo mentions Hitler 29 times and Nazi 21 times, which is pretty funny that he does a CNN piece that called him Hitler 29 times.
It's crazy they still talk. Like I flipped on CNN the other day and I was like,
I'm glad they are, because
they're
then
still
we
just
get
talking
to.
about him.
The memo largely hinges on Don Lemon to calling him Hitler a whole bunch of times, but the reason why this was making me laugh, on top of the fact that it's not journalism and all that sort of stuff, is the people being in the courtroom having to defend because obviously he's like, they called me Hitler's defamation, and their argument should be like that he's Hitler. So he's like, Your Honor.
Yeah, Your Honor.
And he goes,
And then, yeah,
I'm going to put something on the board. It's just a Cheeto. And then he posts a picture of Hitler and then puts them together, and it's the same one.
I mean, essentially, they're really like this will be like a master class in like sophistry or whatever when you're having to be like, this is why he is literally Hitler,
Yeah.
and we should not be dinged a penny.
Your Honor. But it's going to be every last thing, you know what I mean? Like, Your Honor, Hitler used to take walks. Donald Trump has been known to walk on his golf course. Next slide.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Noted. And you're like, yeah.
President Cheeto, yeah, the lawyers a little bit. Mr. Cheeto, sorry, Mr. Trump. Sorry about that. He's, just trying to get in his head a little bit.
The judge is like, jury, you don't have to recognize that.
Jury, yeah, take back
Strike
the Cheeto comment.
Yeah, that was out of line.
So on the last topic of outrage,
So outrageous.
there's M&M's new all-female package sparks outrage. So I would say out of the beginning, no, it didn't.
Yeah.
So this is, I can't imagine they do this a third time, but this one's just funny because they basically made all the M&M's girls, right?
Well, they didn't make them. They just are. They're only featuring the girls.
The guys are out, right?
Yeah, I guess they do exist.
And there's a little bit of a discrepancy because, some of the Fox News people, got mad about this, took the bait a little bit. But what really happened was apparently they hired a new marketing team at M&M's and they just don't want any gay shit. So they basically were like, obviously, first and foremost, get rid of the dudes. No fucking, I'm not eating, what am I going to eat a dude?
With a fucking nut inside of it? No,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yo, is there anything gayer than eating a dude that's made of all nut? And you go, so right out of the gate, like, get rid of that fucking gay shit. And then anything else, like, I don't know, make the girls fucking round.
Fuck, marry, kill, purple, brown, green one.
Obviously, I would fuck the dudes if they were still there. I would say, let me see it on
You got a
yours.
photo?
Okay, fuck
It's upside down though, because it's upside. Why is it upside down? There's a reason for it. Because they're supporting women or something.
Kill purple, marry green, fuck black.
Fuck black. Okay, that's fucked up. That's a trick question. There's no answer, but those are anthropomorphic chocolates, Ryan. But no, I'd go.
Eat, you just eat them all.
Just eat them all,
you
go.
little perv, scum bastard.
All right,
Yeah.
fuck, marry, kill. I'm just like, what was your question? I'm just eating. What was your question? Go. You weren't supposed to eat them. I gotta fuck one of these.
So there's nothing gayer in the world than having a male who's a nut in your mouth. And the guys who took over that company were like, first and foremost, we're not eating dudes. That's over.
No.
And that's what. So apparently, the M&M's brand is on a mission to use the power of fun to create purposeful connections as we work to create a world where everyone feels like they belong. That's funny, except like we want everyone to feel like they belong, so we got rid of all the guys.
Yeah. Apparently, Mars is the Mars Corporation has some lawsuit as well about using child slave labor for procuring their chocolate.
Really?
Yeah, which is pretty funny considering they're like, hey, women on the cover. We have
Yeah,
women
yeah, yeah.
M&Ms. And you're like, you're using slave labor.
Is that true?
Yeah.
So what does that mean, procuring the chocolate? Like,
So most of the world's chocolate comes from I think it's somewhere in Africa, some country in Africa, and they like I don't know to the extent to which Mars is actually to blame, but all these people are like, yeah, we were like not paid child like slave labor to like basically harvest cocoa that sells specifically to the Mars Corporation.
yeah, but girls on the
but-
cover.
Yeah, but we have more important things.
And the green has swapped her go boots for sneakers. Brown sporting a lower, more sensible heels. Red and yellow shoes now have laces. So there's other changes other than just getting rid of the guys. Orange shoelaces are no longer untied. Ooh, no girl doesn't have untied shoes. And they said, also she has a version of Uggs. But what I would like to, the reason I read that is I'd like to make mention that they didn't make any changes to the titties. So
no
titties are still intact for Danny, who's a titty man.
Yeah.
So that's what they said. They go, listen, we can change the shoes around. If you want tie shoes, you want not tie shoes, that's none of my concern. The titties are staying, dudes are off.
Okay, honest question. Do you think that there's one confused person on all of Earth who saw this and rubbed one out to one of these.
Yeah, I think there is some
Like someone
fucking
who's like
pervs out
into
there,
some
yeah.
weird shit. and
Sure,
they're like-
yeah.
They're like, that does it for me.
Or do you think there was someone who was about to rub his weekly one out to the male M&M and he goes, what the fuck is this?
Wait, I could have been doing this to chicks this whole time?
So remember how we talked about the side hustles and the worst jobs and stuff like that?
Yeah.
I found probably the craziest one of all time when you go, how is this a job? There's a woman, and you know what? One of the
Being
things,
a woman's a job?
apparently it's
Wow.
In addition to their normal
It's a
job.
side hustle.
It's yeah, you know what it is? Their side hustle is the emotional labor.
Yeah.
And their main job is
Everything else?
dealing with adversity.
They do deal with a lot of
I think their full-time job is sexism and their part-time job is the emotional labor of these toxic men.
Men are toxic, man.
But I will say that a little bit over the last, because, you know, I'd say there was like all the culture war stuff that was going on. And obviously, like nowadays, it was kind of like, it's a lot of the things that had to be said have been said to some degree, right? And I'm saying that people over 50, like kind of boomers, I guess you call them,
Sure.
have been a little too. It almost reminds me when they're like, these millennials these days, they don't know how to do anything. They're not even men, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's almost a little, it kind of does feel like when you can make fun of your chick, but if you show up and everyone's like, your fucking chick's annoying, it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. It goes, whoa, that's my wife we're talking about.
Yeah, these are the generation that invented reverse mortgages, so they can be the first generation in history that never gives an inheritance. You know what I mean? And you're just like, even the thing where it was like, even thinking about kind of funny for a sketch where it is very like, men used to be men in our days, and you're like, yeah, first of all, look, everything, like we don't need to fix stuff because everything's on the computer. And I'm not even just making the bug argument, but there is the other part where they're like, I used to be back in the day, we were like, knew how to treat a woman. It's like, yeah, and you punch them way more.
Yeah. It was, yeah, that's what you meant by that.
Hey, you open the door. That's what I was sort of saying. We should be saying when they're like, you don't open the door, be like, yeah, what else didn't I do? You know what I mean?
Well, it's equality. That's why I don't hold the door.
Yeah, but I also don't punch you.
Yes.
I get punched
Yeah.
if I'm gonna finish.
Oh, yeah. It's no way to do it otherwise.
Yeah, so there's this like older generation that has a little bit of like a little too much of like millennials can't do anything anymore. It's like, yeah,
And we're like, you ruin the economy.
you ruin the economy, and currently participate in being like a drain on like all of the social, like the Medicare and all. You know what I mean?
All that stuff, yeah.
Yeah, it was like, so it does sort of a little bit, even the obvious stuff where it's like, you got the houses that, every one of all of their wealth came from like a house doubling or tripling, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So sometimes it just gets a little bit of like, I feel like I don't need to hear this from you.
Sure, yeah. I mean, everybody, yeah, exactly.
But this woman, she's got a job saying that millennials don't talk on the phone anymore. This woman charges $480 an hour to help Gen Z and millennial workers overcome their fear of talking on the phone.
Do people really have fears, or they're just like...
They don't want to?
They just don't want to. Like, I don't want to. I'm not afraid of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But this is a perfect example of like some fucking boomer being like, there's nothing more important than talking on the phone. And you're kind of like, it kind of isn't as important right now.
I mean, she's getting paid, though.
But she's convinced these idiots. That's the part where it is true. The millennials are convinced. It's very easy because most millennials like feel victimized. So it's very easy to convince them of like specific problems they have. Like, here's one of your problems. No, it's not that you don't like talking on the phone. You actually have an in-rooted fear that you need to pay money. And the only, I guess, good thing is at least they're probably, anyone that's doing this bullshit's at least using their parents' money probably. So it's like,
no, it's companies. It's she's like, companies hire her, which is that's the whole thing, which is insane. It's like she goes to like, this isn't even like the diversity consultants, where you're like, this is like a real grift. And they're like, oh yeah, don't hire me and see how much trouble you get in. She's actually has to go be like, hey, you need this. And they're like, she probably finds the oldest guy.
You don't think she does personals?
Maybe she does personals. She might do personals, but this was she says the $480 an hour.
This is the perfect.
Oh, basically for the one. Oh no, you know what? This is probably both, because it says she charges $480 an hour for one-on-one coaching, And then for corporate workshops, the daily rate is $3,500 a day.
See, the corporate workshops isn't that crazy. If you went to like some, fest, like a convention, and then you go, some lady's giving like a phone etiquette conversation or whatever, and you go, yeah, I could see a half an hour of that being like somewhat helpful to people. But like the paying for the $480 like personal coaching.
Is it like a 900 number?
Dude,
you just call her on a fucking like 1-900 for $10 bucks
legitimate. Like they go, okay, we're gonna do a role playing experiment. You go, hello. You go, we're just gonna stop there for today. That was $480.
shaking.
Yeah. They go, hello. She goes, hi. And he goes, you see, that wasn't very good. You're going to want to also say hello. Okay, just pretend the phone's not. No, talk to someone how you would talk to them if the phone's not in your hand. And then they just drop the phone on the floor. And you go, no, but with the phone. And you go,
I don't like this.
I don't want to
Can I just email you?
Can I just email you?
This is specifically because older...
You trying to text?
Like, it's no young employees are like, hey, I love phone calls.
Yeah, this is
It's
the odd
older-
time you have
but
to.
This is like the older employees who are like, I'm sick of these new hires. I can't get them on the phone. They just want to email me. And you're like, I
Or
just want to
Slack. So many people
goddamn
operate
phone
in Slack conversations.
And there's some 6-year-old who's like, I don't know what Slack is.
And a lot of jobs, you're just like, yo, I can't just be like at your beck and call. It's like, send me a text message and then I'll get back to it when I can, unless it's like super urgent.
Yeah.
That'd be super annoying if you're trying to do anything and just everyone's calling you all day, depending on what job it is. Do you think any phone operators have that? That'd be, you're just like, well, that'd be the worst if you're a millennial and you work at a call center and you've got this phobia.
That would be a tough one. That would be
Hi, 911. I have a criminal in my house.
Can you just email me? This is serious.
No, he goes, someone's in my house right now. I'm very afraid. You think you're afraid?
Yeah, you think that's bad? Just email me. Just put a important.
Oh,
thing on
yeah?
there.
You think you're the only one that's afraid right now?
Just email me with urgent in the headline.
The Gen Z never had the skills given to them, she told the Insider. In my generation, this is the language I'm talking about. There was probably someone before that being like, in my generation, this is, or like doing a workshop on like writing letters or something. And he was like, yeah, I mean, it's something that's like getting somewhat phased out. And people do Zoom meetings and stuff mostly probably too in like workplaces. Like, I don't know. I do Zoom meetings 80% of the time with everyone I work with.
Yeah, phone calls are uncommon.
In my generation, the phone was on the wall for everyone's house, and we were taught to answer it and make calls at a young age.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, I had a phone growing up, yeah.
Yeah, we all had phones.
But, yeah, she's like spinning this yarn that, like, she has some special skill. She watched one of those like YouTube tutorials where it's like, what are you really good at? And she's like, love talking on the phone, gabbing with my friends. And she's like, how do you turn that into a business? And you go, maybe there's someone else who doesn't know how to talk on the phone and gab to their friends.
Yeah. I think this might be Big Parent is putting her up to this right now because they just want to talk to the kids because the kids aren't calling anymore.
There is okay, that was $80. And you go, after hello, what do you say? And you go, do I just say hello again? No, but
No,
we have to put a little more.
Bring up the weather. That's something that it's all...
Yeah, we like rigging small talk.
A lot of small... It's all small talk.
Yeah, well,
how's this a 7-part program?
I told you the first part is how to answer the phone, like how to get it to your ear. And then you go, the person starts, they've got the phone upside down, stuff like that. And they go, no, you got it turned around. It's like, no. And then you go, okay, now I'm going to tell you to end a phone call. And you go, oh, I love that. And you go, you're going to need to put a little more time on the meter here, though.
This is, like, honestly, he goes, if they're not even used to talking on the phone to their mother, then the process is so scary.
Ooh.
This is someone who has a job at a startup.
Friday the 13th.
And they're like, literally, I'm so scared.
Cops charges $480 an hour for one-on-one coaching. Yeah. The daily rate is $3,500. Would you ever... You get someone that for their birthday, like, you know what I mean? Like I got you a fucking high-class session to a phone coach. $3,500 for a daily. Inside verified these figures using redacted invoices. So she's actually proving that people are giving her $3,500 for her daily phone coaching business.
Yeah.
So this girl's stealing money.
Insane. The whole premise of this is insane.
This is what she says are some of the problems. A common fear is, what if someone asks me a question and I don't know the answer? And
I don't know. I'll get back to you.
well, she teaches them how to say that. That's literally.
You say, I don't know. I'll get back to you.
What were they doing before? They were smashing the phone.
They go, no. It goes. They ask you a question. You go, what's the cost of that? And the person goes, you fucking whore. I don't know the answer to that. And you go, no, you don't talk like that. This is a business meeting.
That's how people. It's legitimately like a sketch where everyone's basically retarded.
Yeah, they're all like,
Yeah,
they
and you
just
go-
can't work the world.
You go, yeah. How's it going? And be like, hey, I'm just calling to wonder if you have this special today at the restaurant. She goes, fuck you,
Fucking shit. Fucking ass. Fuck.
She goes, no. Yeah. I quit.
Goes,
I don't want to operate a phone.
It's
anymore.
like, should I call back at a better time? I don't fucking know. I don't know anything.
Should I call back at a better time? I don't know. Should you?
I'm a fraud. Okay, that's not how we answer work calls.
Hey, just wondering what time you close today. My mother never loved me. That's a start. I never learned these skills. Okay, is that what you wanted to hear? Is that what you need?
It would suck if you're this chick's kid though, because you get a phone call from your mom. You're like, fucking time to pull out all the stops here. Mm-hmm. Can't just have a normal conversation when your mom's a phone coach. Can't just be like, hey mom, how are things? How you been? That is not.
Why is your voice trailing down when you
That
said
is-
how you been?
You're not hitting the proper inflection points. You're not really selling me that you want to be talking to your mother right now. You go,
Calling your mom when she's a phone coach.
it's tough.
Yeah, definitely. This is probably one of the biggest schemes in history. You almost give it props, but
Yeah. This could be a good thing if you're
improvising on a call seems scary. So she teaches improv on the. I think she probably was originally an improv
probably.
teacher.
This seems like
Type of bullshit.
yeah.
So her approach involves using role play. And can you imagine being a grown up sitting there for $400 an hour and you're role playing a
I think some of the
boss-
best therapists are not $500 an hour.
if people aren't ready to answer the phone, I set up a time where I randomly call them throughout the day. So part of her, you have to pay extra for the Supreme package where you never know when you're getting a call from her.
It sucks. Calls you from like an unlisted number too, so you don't even know. Like she's really pulling out. She has like his call spoofer. I'm like, oh, someone's calling me from
She's got the
Hawaii.
scream thing. Like, hello. How are you doing, Jessica? Who is this? Wrong. Now you just got an F. Well, the correct answer was to say, and who will this be? Can I help you? Throughout the day, she calls them randomly and they have to drop everything. Like they're training for the Olympics of phoning. And they improvise a phone call. So that's pretty crazy stuff right there.
Yeah, this seems like this should just be a 900 number.
Where you call the 900 number and you fake a phone call.
She's on like a sex phone, but she's on the other end of it, and you're, it's a few dollars a minute.
That's how you practice your phone call skills.
Yeah, your phone call skills.
Should be a few dollars a minute actually tops, yeah.
Yeah, and then she's like, what?
I mean, that
and
being
you're
said,
like,
she is a few dollars a minute.
She's like
$4 a minute.
She's more. She's $8 a minute.
She's $8 a minute.
God damn, sure, it's $8 a minute. That's like, you know what kind of phone sex you get for $8 a minute?
I know, right? But these people are too afraid to be on the phone, so they can't have phone sex.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the biggest scam in history. This is something that I've been like talking about for kind of a while. It's always because of all the rules of who Hollywood wants to put in what roles or whatever. I said that like they don't know what to do. I said they've been in like a rock and a hard place because they don't know what to do when it comes to villains.
Yeah.
And we've sort of said basically if you watch every big movie, they used to have, a lot of Chinese villains and, Arab
they were,
villains.
of
And now
course.
almost all of them are just Russian, right?
Right, yeah.
So and then because they don't know what to do. And, it's
And
like
the bad guy and the good guys are always white people.
sometimes, yeah.
Not always, but maybe whatever. A lot of them. And then they were like, so now we got to flip it. We're going to make the bad guys white. It was very obvious what they were doing.
Yeah. You meant before.
Before, yeah.
They were like the good guys were white guys and all American.
Yeah.
And then
the Bruce Willis's.
And then the bad guy was an Arab or a Chinese guy. And
Yeah.
they're like, that's done. So then they were like, okay, we'll make the good guy not white, and the bad guy Russian.
Yeah.
So that's how they saw.
And they go, that's pretty convenient. Nobody really liked Russia generally.
It worked out for them a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Until now, Camille Nanjiani's, kind of doing a podcast tour right now to promote his new movie. And he's told that people don't want to cast non-white actors as villains. And he's saying this is like another problem is when he's in, sometimes people even with good intentions, progressive-minded Hollywood decision makers can sometimes have misguided solutions. If a bad guy's a brown guy, what message are they sending? And this is limiting the kinds of roles that actors of color can play. And you go, so what do you suggest?
Yeah, well, the question is, because this is very predictable.
I'm sure that you would think that someone like Kamal Nanjiani has also probably said like, oh, what, I have to be a terrorist? Like, you know what I mean?
Well, but yeah, I mean, he's recently been a superhero. That's why you got all roided out. With
Yeah.
Right? So he's been a superhero, but yeah, there is a solution to it. No white people in movies. Done. I just solved it.
It's almost like, you can't, it's hard to have it good, but it is kind of funny though, because I guess they were like, we're not going to have any bad guys. Like if you were a guy that played like terrorist number 4 in like 40 films, you were just like out of work like that immediately. You know what I mean?
For sure. Well, I mean, like
how many guys played like, Yakuza guy, and it was like, you're just like, you booked the Yakuza guy like 9 times in Hollywood and you actually have a pretty good career going. You make $80,000 a year after your like Yakuza roles. And they were just like, that's over.
That's over. Yeah. I don't, I'm not sure.
There isn't the solution.
Well, but the question is like, is it going to go back? Like, is it going to be like a loop where like then it's going to go back to like white guys as the heroes and brown guys? Are they going to let him go and then I think eventually down the road be like, we have a problem with this again, and then go back again?
Probably some degree of that.
Like
but I think what's actually happening is probably most Hollywood studios, if you actually break it down, like there's a lot of people there. Like even I have like, people in my realm that are Hollywood people, and
your
for
handlers?
My handlers. I would say most of the people that I know that are like high up Hollywood people are just like, this obviously just do what you can. This shit's don't know. But you know what I mean? It was like, they're just like, there a lot of them. Some of them have the idea of like, we're just waiting for it to pass. Like, you know what I mean?
Like
and
it'll revert.
Yeah, this moment sucks. It is a bad era, whatever. And then I'm sure some of them are in it, but a lot of the dudes that I talk to in those sort of positions are just like, you can't win. I don't know. You just try to stay out of the muck as much as you can.
Get in trouble.
Let me try to not be in a news story as much as possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It is crazy that Kumal was not able to have some insight into why this is.
That's kind of, you
don't get why?
And you don't get that. What do you think should be the thing? It's like, well, I guess, bad guys and good guys should be. And you're like, well, obviously you don't see why people would not like if you go like that movie I just saw where they had like the white guy, the white kid's the like protagonist, and then the bully's like a black person, and it's like, this like feels weird to people. You know what I mean? Like because of all the stuff.
I mean, I was watching Sopranos recently, and like there's a scene where Tony goes in like the hood or whatever, and then it's all black people. And I was thinking that I'm like, if you're that black person, like you're like that actor who's like probably like some Broadway actor realistically, right?
Of course.
And they're like, you got to audition today for like Hood Dude 6.
Sure.
And they're like, this is all we get. But then you're like, but it doesn't. It's supposed to be mimicking real life.
That is
so like there's not a white hood that he could go to. So like the alternative is like you just don't get to be in the show.
I think the one thing that they probably they're getting closer to is they go, which is where they might land for a little bit is like, you can only make shows of your own race.
Yes.
Like if you can only make a show with like gang in it if you're black. You know
like
what I mean?
The creator is black.
Yeah, but like you go with the terrorist thing, it was like, I'm sure that like a lot of like Indian dudes aren't going to want to make like a
But I'm saying for a show,
a
show like Sopranos, so they go like, we want to write the scene where Tony goes to the hood, and you go like,
you can't.
But you're like, but then those actors now lost roles.
Of course.
So you're like, who wins? Who's really winning here?
Of course, no one
And you're
wins.
like, but that is what the hood looks like in New York.
Yes.
So you're like, it's not like we're misrepresenting it. The only thing you could do is be like, okay, we'll do like a white hood. And then you're like, that makes no sense.
Maybe I think you kind of have a hood where you have like I saw this British commercial, and it was like these 3 or 4 hood dudes, and basically they did a commercial against sexism that the mayor of London posted on Twitter.
Okay.
And it was kind of like this girl, and there was like 4 kind of like gangstery type of dudes, 2 white, 2 black. And there was this girl sitting there and she's like, "Oi, you eating those fucking chips, are you?" He has that accent. He goes, hey, come here, girl. Like, what's up? What up, you? Why aren't you talking to me? And he's like harassing this girl. And she's like, "I'm just trying to get on the bus." She's like, "I'm just trying to be nice to you. Come here, come sit closer."
Sounds like the heckler a little bit.
So this guy, and then it shows the black gangster that's kind of like the heart of gold, and he's sort of in his head thinking to himself like, "Come on, stand up." And then eventually he stands up to the white gangster, going like, "Hey, pal, like you need to leave her alone." And he goes, "I'm just talking here." And he goes, "No."
But they're both gangsters.
They're all kind of dressed like London kind of hood guys. I don't know if they're
or
supposed
whatever,
to be
not
gang bangers or is like
they're like
they got a little like urban swang on them or whatever. And then the black gangster stands up to the white gangster and he says, "Oi, mate, this
leave her alone,
not on my watch, bruv."
Brev.
And then it was like stand up to sexism kind of thing, right? So I think that's that's sort of how you get it to play out.
Yeah.
But yeah, the bottom line is there's a lot of boxes, and I think the more that you go, every avenue's trouble. Because if you're like, okay, if we do this combination is trouble, okay, it's because I'm white, and if I put a white guy here, and then if I put a white guy here, that's a little bit trouble. And you go, okay, so maybe I'll just, everywhere I go's trouble. Okay, I guess whatever, then we're going to have a little, that's part of making a movie is someone complains.
Sounds like hell to be a casting director right now. Seriously, like your whole job is like, what do you do? It's like, honestly, I just try every single day to not get fired.
Yeah.
Like all you're doing is you're like, what combination is the least likely to get me in trouble?
Just every little thing. You're like, okay, a guy hits his wife. You're like, well, I want to cast a black guy, but it's like, I can't have really like the black guy that beats his wife because that'll be like negative. So it's like maybe maybe I have a white wife that beats a black man. And
you're like, and I want to cast a man, but that's not okay. So maybe a white wife beats her lesbian wife, and you go, no, that's not okay. No, because
lesbians don't do things
maybe
bad.
She's trans. You go, oh no,
they would never. That's and if it did beat him, it wouldn't hurt that much because they just have strength of a woman. Even though women do have equal strength, so it actually would hurt as much.
Sure.
And yeah, I think you go in these logicals, and I think a lot of them are probably just like, no matter what you do, there's like going to be some backlash, and that's sort of something that you live with now. And then you kind of, you're back to just kind of making whatever you want to make.
Yeah. I guess you do know that if you placate the loudest kind of voices, that'll help too.
Doesn't though. I think that it seems to not, because if the loudest voices get their hooks in you, then it's like, if the loudest voices get their hooks in you in any sort of way, then you're sort of, your next move will be like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You'll be screwed on the next one.
Unless they're white.
Gonna take another quick second here to tell the fellas about Fume, 2 dots on the U. You already know what it is. The wooden inhalers without nicotine. Now, if you don't know what this is actually a Canadian company, which is cool. Be smart. Don't start, kick the habit, put it out before it puts you out. All phrases we've heard 100 times, yet we still continue to have bad habits. For some of you, we don't know what those bad habits are. For Danny, that might be, that 3rd bag of Cheetos every night when you're trying to keep it to 2.
2 Cheetos,
or
man.
The food that looks like llama food that some people, it's not popcorn, it's just basically llama food.
What the fuck is llama food?
It looks like food that they feed to llamas. Fume is on a mission to accelerate humanity's breakup from bad habits that consume far too many of us. It's a natural, diffusive device that uses plants and behavioral science to help you trade out your negative habits for a positive one. So I use it sometimes when I'm just editing and stuff like that, because it's got no nicotine. It's not a vape. It's a non-electronic device designed to transform your negative habits. Instead of pods filled with potentially harmful chemicals like a vape, Fume uses cores infused with plants like peppermint and cinnamon and delicious natural flavors. Honestly, this is one of those things that has sort of taken hold in the New York scene. So a lot of people, I can see this becoming a big thing, and it really does help to kick bad habits. And a lot of people in the comedy scene have been kicking around with these because obviously, which a lot of things start like that, you know what I mean? Because we're all sort of talking about it. But Fume's new version 2 model is snappy and tactile with an adjustable airflow dial and a magnetic end cap. Your fingers will always have something to do. That's another thing. I'm a big fidgeter, so it helps definitely with that. Whatever habit you're trying to stop, give this a shot. The look, the feel, the taste are all something that I would recommend to you. The cores, you can pick the ones that work best for you. And the easiest way to stop a bad habit is to switch to a positive one. And Fume is designed perfectly to do just that. Fume's goal is to make switching easy and even enjoyable. They have thousands of 5-star reviews from people who've successfully switched when other solutions didn't work. Head to tryfume.com and use the code BOYSCAST to save 10% off when you get the Journey Pack today. The Journey Pack, start off with the Journey Pack. It comes with 3 unique flavors and the new version 2 Fume to help kickstart your positive habits. Try fume.com, tryfum.com. Use the code BOYSCAST to save an additional 10% off your order today. Getting back into it. Yeah, know what is kind of an interesting fact that I was thinking about? Is because, there's always the topic of, why the girl NBA players should make as much as the NBA, right? And it's really that's the only sport we really have that conversation about.
Yeah, I mean, it's
soccer. Soccer too.
Soccer. Yeah. Well, they did. I guess. Yeah. Again, they're just complaining they want as much money as the men, but they don't use reasonable metrics for it. But yeah.
But I was thinking that it's almost good, just in terms of not good, or it's probably not good or bad, but it's probably at least a blessing in terms of the complaining community that the white sports make the least amount of money. Because think about the highest sports are mostly sports with black people. Yeah. And the lowest paid sports like hockey, lacrosse get paid way less, right?
Yeah, baseball. I mean, it's still a lot, but yeah.
Well, that's a part of it too, because there are a lot of times they're I think the hockey night in Canada, the announcers they got rid of the girl and it was 3 black dudes. Yeah. Which is kind of funny, right? Because it's mostly white people in the sport. And you could even argue, then they're saying
and viewers.
They need more black people, and you're a part of it is they're well, yeah, the black people play sports that make 5 times as much money. That know what I mean?
That don't cost. I mean, hockey is you make less money. It's the most expensive sport to play. It's the most annoying sport to play.
You'll have to live in a cold place. Usually.
Scheduling. No, but the scheduling, the waking up at 4:30 a.m. on Saturday morning. You're you don't do that for basketball.
No.
Well, no, because it's ice time is just so much more in demand than court time. There's more basketball courts and they're all rinks.
Oh,
anywhere.
I was talking about in the NHL.
Play
when they want to play. But.
No. I think when they decide they want to have a skate, it's available.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? If you think about it the other way around, imagine hockey. Imagine the top 2 sports were the white sports, and then under that was basketball, then football, or whatever. It would be I feel like people that would wouldn't sit right with people.
No.
It is crazy though. If lacrosse, right now, if you are the top lacrosse player in the world. They always complain that like I said, the girl basketball players should make more money. It's if you're the top lacrosse player in the world, you fucking make $35,000 a year. It's that is pretty crazy.
Yeah. I mean, that's equivalent to, being some chick who's the best female, indoor volleyball player or something. You're just I don't know. Nobody really cares about it.
But why? Why does no one care about lacrosse? It is a cool sport. Is it because the ball moves too fast?
No.
Do they need to make the ball a different color?
No. It's never caught on.
People were saying the Toronto Rock is one of the best franchises in Canadian history. Yeah. And no one cares.
How many games have you been to?
I don't care, but
that's what I'm saying. You like lacrosse and you never gone and supported. Well,
I don't go anywhere though.
I guess
I'd be just as likely to go to the Rock as I would the Argos or anything else.
I don't know. Yeah, which is not likely.
I'm too busy. I'm too busy getting fights at comedy clubs.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never been into lacrosse. I've seen it on TV.
Is it? But why is it so? Why don't people like it? You think?
It's not because the ball moves.
It's a big thing in America. It's a college. It's a big thing. Yeah, it's a big deal.
But again, when you say big deal, you're I wonder where lacrosse ranks in terms of all collegiate sports. It's probably mixed in with some shit you've never heard of.
What is that though? It is an action-packed sport. Yeah. And they'd have the basketball thing where they have the music playing during, so it's kind of fun. Most sports, they kind of stop the music during play a lot of times. Yeah. Whereas basketball, when they kept the music going, it kind of does have make it a little more fun at the games and stuff like that.
I don't know. I've never watched a lacrosse game, a full lacrosse game. I've turned it on. You see it. I like a good lacrosse highlight.
Highlights are good. And it's a high-scoring game?
Yeah. I don't know. Something about that dopey-looking goalie.
The goalie looks stupid.
He looks like the Michelin
The
man.
ball moves pretty fast, which I think maybe
that's fine. A hockey puck moves pretty fast too. I mean, hockey's a faster game than lacrosse.
I don't think that's true.
Well, it's on ice. What do you mean? It's on ice. They're way faster.
This is lacrosse. This is hockey. This is lacrosse.
The only thing I guess is cool with lacrosse is you can just hit somebody with your stick.
People get hurt. It's fucking rough. There's
Yeah.
fights.
Honestly, the thing that would make lacrosse better would be if you put it on ice.
I'll
But
tell
then
you.
it's
I'll
basically
tell you one
hockey.
thing that doesn't help is they have cages on. People
Yeah.
like sports where they can see the people's face a little better.
That's true, but NFL has that. They got over it. It's just hard to be famous.
It is-
Unless you're like the
way
top
less
guy,
famous,
like guys in the NFL, most of them can be pretty anonymous because they will
never see their face.
never see their face. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, so there's this is just like a quick thing, but there's this article, and this is Pink News, so they're sort of celebrating it, right? A Mormon gay man and a straight wife keep their marriage going with weekly sex feedback sessions.
no,
Yeah, so basically the husband identifies as gay, but they're Mormon, so he wants to stay with his wife even though he likes guys better, right?
Yeah.
And they're saying like, how do we make our marriage work even though my husband's gay? So obviously you've sort of been in situations.
I mean, you pay
You can sort of-
$480 an hour
You-
for a
yeah.
consultant.
Yeah, you can relate to this, right? But they said they do weekly sex sessions. She goes, in order to keep the marriage going, they attend therapy every Thursdays to discuss their sex life. So it's like not conversion therapy. It's one under conversion therapy where they go, we'll keep you gay.
It's just like a recap.
Yeah.
They just go.
Can
and
you think of anything worse than sitting down with your girlfriend and a therapist once a week where it's like, so, last week, is there anything that you didn't like during sex? She goes, I mean, when he was gagging, I thought that part was not my favorite.
Yeah, so
he
I was
goes,
like,
okay, try to gag
So
less.
how many times did we have sex this week? You go, 3. And then you're like, was any of them not doggy style this time? He goes, not yet. I'm still not there
Still
yet.
working.
Still can only do doggy
So
style.
can we maybe talk about potentially next Thursday flipping you around? It's like, yeah, that's something I could potentially try in the future for sure.
He goes, boy, do I love the Lord, though.
Woo-wee. That's the thing. He has a very big problem because he loves the Lord, but he loves dong.
He loves dong, yeah, but he's fine. I didn't know this, but they say that in the church that it's Mormon church states that the experience of same-sex attraction is a complex reality for many people. The attraction itself is not a sin, but acting on it is. So you can be like, I'm gay, but I don't do gay shit.
This is kind of like what Ben Shapiro always says when they go, well, what do you do if you're gay? And he goes, just don't bang dudes.
Yeah, just don't.
He
act
sees
on
it as the same way as like the priests that go a life of, solitude or whatever.
Yeah, you just go. Some people do stuff they don't like,
Yeah, exactly. He's like, well, no, they just don't do stuff that they do like.
or that too.
You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know if he loves.
And I mean, people have
banging
made
his
that
wife.
argument. How many people are married and they're like, yeah, I would like to bang girls, but I have this one wife that I don't bang.
Yeah,
and
he's
it's like,
not-
what's really the difference at that point?
It's true.
Being like a straight guy with a wife you don't bang or a gay guy with a wife
That's
you
a
don't
good point.
But I guess for him, he's like, he can't even jerk off to gay porn either. He can't go to his
Ooh.
Chippendale shows.
Can he rub one out to? I wonder if that's like if he's feverishly rubbing them out to just like his thoughts.
I
gay
feel-
thoughts.
He has to sort of, he has to find like loopholes. You know what I mean? Like find like a girl that like kind of like trans men are probably like doing it for him right now. But according to the Lord, he's like, I consider that a woman still.
Right.
So he's probably like, no, I don't care if she has a beard. As far as I'm concerned, that's a woman.
And
you know?
she definitely has like a buzz cut.
Yeah, that's one of those things that they probably talk about in therapy. Like, I was a little dry, so maybe we could use more lube next time. And he's like, yeah. And he goes, also, maybe this time I could not wear the bald cap. I didn't love wearing the bald cap
Yeah,
and the fake beard. And you cut out a photo of Al Borland and then put Scotch tape on it and then put that on my nose. That wasn't my favorite thing. So
Yeah,
maybe if we could try something different than that this week.
I do like to role play. But that was.
Do anything else that we might want to try next week? It's like, yeah, again, I'll tell you my name's Deborah, so maybe just stop saying Doug.
It is funny, Pink News, because a lot of these things
Dougie.
come from Pink News, and the way
Pink News rules.
the way they write stuff though, there we go. Prior to meeting his heterosexual wife, like they just call her the wife heterosexual.
Yuck. Nelson explained, it's easy for me to wonder about what I'd be missing if I were in a relationship with a man. However, he says sex with his wife's enjoyable.
It's all right.
And then he winked at the camera. They didn't check to see if he had his fingers crossed.
Oh,
That does seem like a guy that's lying, though. And you go, so how are you enjoying sex with your wife? Like, enjoyable. Definitely enjoying that.
If there's two things I love, is the Lord and sex with my wife. Top two favorite things.
It's my favorite thing. I've been much enjoying sex with my wife.
I love sex with my wife.
So much. I have to have weekly sessions.
With a therapist. Just so I can make it one more week. That guy probably falls apart if he doesn't have his therapy session.
He's having sex with her doggy style and he's a pillow over his face. To crowd the tears. Yeah.
She's like, you don't need to stop spitting on me. She's like, I'm pretty lubed up.
Those are tears. Those are tears, pal.
I'm not spitting.
So this guy's living quite the life. That's quite the life. That's why it's like any girl dating any girl that's like a sex therapist or anything like that. You just sex coach, like all those jobs. Basically, all that you need to read is annoying. You know that's going to be a fucking so crappy. Any girl that has like, just so you know, I'm an expert on this, pal. Ugh. You know. Yeah, I'll make a gay man straight. That's how much of an expert I am. I used to say that we'll show you positions you didn't know existed, and you go, I promise you, the ones I know are the good ones.
We're fine.
There isn't some weird position out there that I haven't heard of where you go, oh, I didn't know this one existed. It was like, there's the 4 or 5 main ones, and then maybe where it's like, then there's a couple of the lazy ones.
Yeah, and then there's a couple of the ones where you kind of like risk of injury.
Then there's the ones where you're almost like joking, like you have like the pile driver and stuff like that. But her position she's going to do is like, you're hanging from like a bar, you've got your hand on like the wood sill and she's like under you doing a handstand and she's like, bet you didn't know this one existed. And you're like,
this is really difficult to do.
And she's like, was I right that you didn't know that one existed? And you go, I guess I did.
Yeah, my quads are on fire right now though. Can we not do this?
You find yourself, you're just like, yeah, you just go back to this girl and you're like, it's your first night and you're like, okay, maybe I have sex. Next thing you know, you're doing the splits from the refrigerator to the...
Like you're fucking Jean-Claude Van Damme.
You're doing the Jean-Claude Van Damme splits and she's pushing you down.
This really hurts.
She's underneath you on like a fucking, she's got
a lazy Susan spinning around on her head. She's on her head spinning around on a lazy Susan. You're in between cabinets or whatever the fuck, like countertops, doing a plank. She's spinning around you while you keep a perfect plank on top of it facing down. She's just spinning like a break dancer.
She's on and you're doing the perfect plank, and then she's planking over top of you, and she's grabbed your dick and bent it the other way. You're just like, yeah, okay, definitely didn't know it existed.
I don't remember this one in the Kama Sutra.
Yeah, all right, coach. Hey, coach, I'm feeling a little injured here. If you want to put me on the riders for the next couple games, I think I need to be on the waivers. You definitely don't. You ever have you ever banging where like halfway through you realize that you're actually getting an ab workout? And then you focus on that?
On an ab workout?
Like, have you ever been during sex and, like, realized that this is multi-purpose, I'm getting a workout?
Yeah.
Like, you're like, oh, my abs are starting to hurt because of this position.
Yeah,
and then, like, actually focused on that where you're like, hey, let me get 10 seconds of this. And then, like, we pause for a second. Then you turned it into a workout.
No, I'm just focused on the drilling. I'm just pounding away.
Your head's clear.
I'm just like,
you're clear as Danny's like, well, I've left my body at that point.
She has too. We both left our bodies.
When you're banging, you are floating around the room, looking at yourself, flexing your muscles in the mirror.
Me floating is the floating version.
The floating version's also flexing muscles. You're floating around, flexing your muscles, looking at your bottom self get the workout.
Yeah, you did, dirty dog.
I've definitely had that a few times where you realize you're getting the ab workout.
Sometimes, yeah, you're like, oh, this is a good workout, yeah.
Yeah, and then you were like, I was maybe gonna run later, so you're like, you know what? If I just stretch this out stretch this out a little bit, 2 birds.
Yeah, if you break a sweat,
2 birds. Also, get your friend in here. I'd like 2 birds.
I would like another bird.
Excuse me. I would
like one more bird.
That's you. That's Danny getting romantic. Tell me what you want. She's like, tell me what you want. You're like, a second bird.
I would like another bird, please.
If it's all the same to you, I'd like a second bird. That's you in the sex sessions, the second therapy session. She's like, I sometimes feel like he just starts too quickly and, it's not romantic. And you're like, okay, that's yours. And Daniel, do you have any other things that you'd like to bring up in the sex session? And like a second bird.
I'd like a second bird, please. I'm okay with her demands. I just like a second bird.
I will accept the demands. And my demand is I would like a second bird.
Yes, please.
And 2 birds, 1 dome is what I call this pronoun. And I also won't be wearing a dome, but
no domes. 2 birds, no domes.
yeah, 2 birds, no dome. Yeah, look at this guy killing 2 birds, no dome. All right. Speaking of actually the same topic, to be honest.
Yeah.
As I actually did want to talk about this, was Prince Harry. So, because my take on Prince Harry is a little bit, and I told people last week, or a couple of weeks ago, I was saying that I got a whole earful on the opposite take, where it was basically like, the royal family kind of started it with him or whatever, right? However, Prince Harry, my take has always been a little bit that he's like somewhat of a sheltered guy. He's involved in one of these Hollywood chicks. He doesn't know how to handle her a little bit, right? And I think that...
I mean, he is like, I don't know the extent. I haven't really been following it too much, but it sounds like he's just kind of a little butthurt that he's the younger brother.
It has a little bit of that, maybe, yeah.
And you don't ever get to
He was getting beat up and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's getting noogies, and you don't get to be the prince or whatever.
My brother could beat me up, so we don't have that.
Yeah.
Could your brother beat you up?
Maybe now. I used to have.
Well, he's a health nut.
Yeah, he's pretty big now, but I don't know. Probably not still. But
so Harry, basically, Prince Harry has this confessional book, right? And it's so funny because it like sort of after like a year straight of everyone being like Meghan and Harry they're fighting the fight, because all they were talking about was saying that like the royal family is racist, right?
Yeah,
and everyone was like,
course.
More, please. Oh, he's
more slop, please.
Yeah. So basically, he was like, they were kind of like saying, obviously the royal family's got some problems, like, and then they go, what problems? They go, they're racist, and then the bloggers just all get on their knees and they're at their trough.
Oh, how racist! Tell me how racist they are. Oh, that's so fucking racist. Oh, that's so fucking racist. Oh my god.
Right. So basically, but it really kind of reminds me of this stuff people talk about. Well, we've had this conversation a lot where it'll be like, girls say that they want like, an emotional guy, they want you to be vulnerable, but it's like, I promise you, when you do all that stuff, your life gets immeasurably worse, right?
For sure.
But so Harry, basically, he's been being vulnerable, but really, he's just been saying that other people are racist, right?
Well, and then he's also like, I have a shitty family. And you're like, yeah, a lot of people do, man. I guess you were so sheltered because you were the prince, you didn't realize that, like, it's pretty common.
Some of the stuff he says, yeah.
He goes, oh, my dad was mean to me. You go, oh, it's tough, dude. Real tough, man.
Really, yeah.
Yeah, man.
But when the internet sort of like turned on him the minute he started talking. So he released this thing, and it's like, if you're his like publicist, he's probably like, dude, we had it dialed in. We pulled off the impossible. You left the royal family, went to America, now you're like these big icons. You got Netflix deals. All you had to do was keep saying they're racist.
Yeah, just keep. They
killed my mom. They're racist, right?
Yeah.
And then now he starts being like, you want to hear a little bit of Harry? And everyone's like, yeah. So the stuff that he said was, first of all, he starts talking about how he's being in the army and stuff like that. Like, this just proves he has all of the things that like all the people that love him wouldn't like. Uh-huh. But as long as he keeps saying the royal family is racist,
yeah,
he's like, he's the golden pass, right?
I mean, I guess to some people, I imagine in like England, my guess is he probably must be like, because here we don't really have an affinity, obviously, but like I wonder if they're really like, fuck this guy.
Some people are, yeah. I think it's pretty split the same way it is here to some degree, but yeah, I think there is a lot of that, right?
Yeah, we're here. I don't know if there's a lot of fuck this guy. People are just like, ooh, we just like drama.
Maybe, yeah. I think you probably are accurate that less people here have a like, fuck this guy.
Yeah. I don't think people. I was just like, he just to me is like another guy on TMZ right now. To be honest,
he is another guy, but they've always been that to me. Yeah,
yeah. But I'm saying not in England.
I mean, it was we were there when the Princess Diana thing happened, and maybe it was a bigger deal in Canada, but like it was the biggest deal in the world.
Yeah,
it was enormous deal.
Yeah,
but and that was one of those ones with the conspiracy theories about it. I don't know. I'll listen to any theory. You know what I mean? I'll never dismiss. However, to me, all of the theories about why Princess Diana died was very like, it was like the theory is kind of like that the royal family paid people to kill her, right? Like the TMZ guys, essentially like all the paparazzi drove her off the road, right? But they were like, because she was in the car with what was supposed to be her lover or whatever. And I was just like, but like, you don't really need a conspiracy theory for what to have happened. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Because you're like, you go, okay, so all these guys.
Also, like, to guarantee a death in a car accident, like
it's hard to
there's a lot of car accidents where there's nothing, people walk away unscathed.
Yeah, because you could say all this stuff. You go, the royal family was like against her. They were trying to do this, but then they go, for them to hire the people, you wouldn't have to. There's already 100 of them, and you go, well, we paid one of them to run them off the road, and you go, well, why would that guy just go to jail for life instead of like just saying, yeah, they hire? I don't know.
Yeah,
it just seems like too sloppy to me. So that's why
I don't know about that. I think the guy just was trying to be a fucking. I think the dude who was driving her was trying to be like the classic dude who's like, don't worry, I got this. Watch this shit, and then he's like, kunk.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like just what happened didn't necessarily need a conspiracy to already be true.
True, yeah.
So that's kind of just how I felt about it. But the things he said, he started talking about, so I feel like his agent would be like, stick to racism. He goes, I just wanted to be honest about my time in the army. He killed 25 Afghanis, and he goes, in the heat of combat, he viewed his target as chess pieces rather than people. And you could just see like all his publicity, people being like, we have put so much effort.
Please tell us you killed the white Afghanis.
Like he's just saying all this stuff. He's like, I think he's been sheltered. Like, I feel like he probably doesn't even know like the fight he was in or whatever. It's like almost.
I mean, I also think there's a good chance that like whoever was like, I don't know, with him in the army, they're like, yeah, he didn't have live rounds. Like crazy. Like, I'd be beside him. I'd be fucking sniping dudes. I'd be like, Harry, you got another one, pal. Look at you, real sharpshooter. You were made for this.
He wasn't even in Afghanistan. Yeah, they took a plane to like.
Yeah. They like recreated like in Egypt, like a whole fucking like just Hollywood, like Wag the Dog, bring everybody in and just like sound stages and all that shit. Like all extras. And Harry's like, I got another one. Chim Chim Cheree. You go, Harry, good for you, pal.
It's a white guy with brown face paint out.
Yeah, seriously.
Got me good. Yeah. Got me good. Wrong accent, you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Oh, it hurts. This will prevent me from overthrowing your government.
Yes. Oh, you are the best, Harry. I mean,
I did not expect such a accurate opponent. Good stuff.
Yo, I just heard one of those guys say these squibs hurt. I don't.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
And then there he goes. Yeah, he's walking through, and they go, "That's crazy that they have like a Britain fried chip. They have a Britain chip place in Afghanistan." They go, "Go, fuck, get him in the car. Get him in the car."
Made him his own Truman Show.
Yeah. They are living a bit of a Truman Show. Yeah.
For sure.
So he basically said,
I mean, they have the resources to pull that off.
And he said all this vulnerable stuff. He goes, my virginity, he was talking about, he goes, among the most, so this is all from his like diary that he's, on a book tour. He just did Colbert, and Colbert was like, man, it must have been so hard for you to be in a fight with your brother
so
like that.
Hard, yeah.
And Colbert is like almost ball washing him. And he was like, he goes, when you and your brother were in a fight, like, man, can't imagine. Like, have you ever thought about reconciling? Like, is there anything that could have changed so you and your brother could do something? I saw a clip where there was basically Colbert was digging into how hard it must be to be in a fight with his brother like that,
Yeah.
He goes, among the most explosive claims was how he lost his virginity. Did you see that one? That was the original one that piqued my interest.
Older chick.
She goes, she knocked me onto the floor during an argument with Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. Oh, wait, this is when he got in a fight with his brother. Okay, never mind.
No, I have it here. It was it says Prince Harry is sharing it all.
Yeah, but read the thing like you're a romance novel guy.
So in his new memoir, Spare, the Duke of Sussex doesn't hold back from sharing the most intimate details of his life, including how he lost his virginity, revealing the inglorious episode occurred with an older woman when he was around age 17. Nice.
Nice.
That's me editorializing. She liked horses quite a lot and treated me not unlike a young stallion.
Oh, he describes
Really?
himself
She
as a
treated you
stallion.
not unlike a young stallion? No, she treated you like the fucking, your dad was the king of England. You fucking idiot. What do you mean a young, yeah. You don't think she thought you were just like some 17-year-old?
Young buck,
and not
yeah.
Prince Harry? Like she knew you were Prince Harry, dude.
The sleuths have been trying to find out who
Like
this is also, and then there's a lot of girls where they keep finding her in the news. They'll be like, this is the, like the timeline opens up, like, look, this old bag would have been about 40 then. And then this 16-year-old girl's like, no, I didn't bang Harry and call him a stallion.
Well, he didn't even say how much, like he says an older woman, but an older woman to a 17-year-old could be 30.
24.
Yeah, or like whatever. It could be
She
anything.
smacked, oh, that's what, she smacked his rump
Because she liked
and
horses.
sent me off to graze.
No, she said quick ride. Harry writes for a copy of the book to quick ride, after which she'd smacked my rump and sent me off to graze. Among the many things about it that were wrong, it happened in a grassy field behind a busy pub.
Yo, that is so funny. If you go behind a pub and the prince is just getting head, like at the back of the pub, you like, you know, someone gets kicked out, you're a bouncer trying to throw, and the prince is just like, what's up? And no, it's not even that. It's the prince like bent over with the girl slapping him, be like, nay for me, nay. Then sent him off to pasture back in the pub. So he's saying this stuff, and everyone's just kind of like, ugh.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? It
Cool.
was like,
no, I see that. I'm just like, cool. I don't know. Is this book
sort of humble bragging? Yeah.
Is it a humble brag?
I don't know.
Like, dude, you were the fucking Prince of England.
I think he's just trying
I
to
would
be-
have like, yeah, you should have lost your virginity to 20 supermodels at once.
Sure.
What are you talking
He
about?
should have had a couple birds, eh?
Yeah, a couple birds. And that.
The virginity thing, and then he talked about his Hitler costume. He basically reminded everyone of all these racist scandals that he was in.
That's okay. I guess. What was his
Well, he thinks
explanation
that's
for
what I'm
the
saying. Is like
Hitler costume?
when girls say like they want guys to be vulnerable, it's like what they really mean is they're like, especially in the terms of social media, it's like they want you to be like, say all the right things, but say you're depressed. That's like
Yeah.
the only thing when a girl is saying like guys should be more vulnerable, really what they mean is guys should like admit they're depressed.
Yeah.
But when any guy is like, you know, sometimes I feel like racist impulses, they're like, get him.
Get him.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, not that one. Not like the, who was it? Was it Liam Neeson who got for that one? Where he goes,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I almost
yeah.
murdered a man
For being black.
for being black.
And then,
all right,
yeah.
you're done. I don't know. You didn't have to say that.
That's
Liam.
another one where the people the people that are with him doing like his handlers doing his press tour.
No.
Stop it.
He must have got madly
and he goes
bitched around
and
making
he
this book.
because he killed my friend. What how's
Yeah, no, he raped a woman.
what's his accent though?
It's like, I think he's Irish. I can't do that. That's your people.
He goes, because I killed my friend. He goes, so I was almost killed a man for being black because he raped a friend of mine, and that's just an aside, had nothing to do with it. I just saw him and rage went through my body because of the rape. No, I'd forgotten all about the rape at this point. I actually lost contact with the girl.
She actually committed a double murder, so she wasn't blameless. But
Yeah. She was, if anything, she deserved it. And so anyways, I ran back into this guy and something about his face.
anyway, so tell us about working with Jack Black. And he goes, Jack Black's a great actor.
Love the person, don't love the name, as you'd imagine.
Oh, all right.
They said you can work with Jack Black, and I said, or Jack White, and I said White. Well, you don't have to ask me twice. Imagine my, and they said we actually can only get Black. I was furious. I went on a hate crime spree the night before, only to imagine ironically showing up and find out that he was a white man. And they go, okay. They go, and he's like, yeah, he's just finishing off. He's like, all right, great interview, boy. He's like, you guys want to get a beer? And everyone's just like horrified.
Well, your career's done.
I killed a man one time for it was at a convenience store, and I used to come in and yell at him to speak English, and one day I was getting sick that he didn't get the memo.
You go, oh, is this a movie you were in? He goes, no,
His
real life.
real life, pal. Sometimes life doesn't work out the way you want it to. For them. For me, it does.
Going pretty good for me.
It's going fairly good for me. I'm 75, still playing an action star in every movie. I'm not. Liam Neeson's the oldest guy that sometimes doesn't even play. Like, he'll play roles. Like, a lot of times they do play the guy that's like too old and he's like, you know, getting back into it. But oftentimes Liam Neeson just plays an action star and they don't, like, he doesn't have like he's getting too old for this. Like, he won last job. It's just like, he's just one of the guys and he's 78 years old.
He's literally, I just looked it up. He's literally 70 years old.
Yeah. I respect, dude. Liam Neeson's the GOAT.
He is the GOAT.
I'm telling you one thing about Liam Neeson, just to end this tangent, that I like is generally guys like him that start getting into like sort of Nick Cagey territory where you just make the same movie over and over again.
Yeah.
Generally, the budgets on those movies start going down.
Yeah.
I honestly feel like after Taken, he made like 3 or 4 other of those same movies. Then he started kind of taking everything and he made like 3 or 4 of this one. And then something clicked and the budgets came back to him. Like maybe he got like a 10-movie deal. But now he's making high budget Takens again and like 7 a year.
I guess maybe they're doing well. I don't know. He's doing a lot of TV.
I think he does
He's doing a lot
box
of TV,
office.
actually.
He's doing everything. And I think he just might connect on The Office, man. I think
He works a
people
lot,
buy his
though,
tickets.
man.
Bro, he doesn't stop. I bet you he never learns his lines, too. Like, he's got some deal where they just have to put the lines on a big, like, Saturday Night Live cue card kind of thing.
Or what was it? The Godfather. I think it was The Godfather where Marlon Brando, they like literally for Marlon Brando's because he was so like just out of it that they would like tape the script, the lines to the other actor. So it's like James Caan had the lines taped to his stomach, and there'd be like an over the shoulder for James Caan, so you couldn't see. And then Marlon Brando would just be reading off of his chest.
Dude, one time when I had to do an audition, like a self-tape audition, maybe like 8 or 10 years ago, you're supposed to get someone to read it for you, but I was like, I hated this shit, right? So I was like, I didn't, and what I did was I wrote the lines. I said the lines myself and just recorded them.
That's smart.
Yeah, and then so I had myself being like, "And what did you show up?" And I was like, "I just got here." And I
you didn't change your voice?
Well, I might have changed it a little bit. And then I sent it. And my agent is calling back. He's like, "Yeah, no, you can't." Like,
Why not?
I thought I cracked the code.
I don't see why you're not allowed to do that.
I thought I cracked the code of not having to do my lines with someone else.
That seems like a...
Because I hated getting someone else because I was always like embarrassed to be that.
Yeah, it's just like go bother someone and be like, hey, can you help me like film a self-tape?
It's embarrassing. Ian Fidance asked me to do it when we were at the comedy club at like... I think we were in Philadelphia Zanies, and he had like a big audition, but we had this show together, and he was like in the stairwell, basically being like, you know, playing a mafia guy, being like, and another thing, and then you know the staff would come by with the fucking, you know, like fucking, sorry, and I'm there, and it's just like, yeah, it just sucks so bad, to do any of that shit. So the 25 Afghanis, he's got the Hitler costume. He called a guy a Paki.
Whoa.
Dude, he goes, he also addressed the scandal from 2009 when a video emerged of him doing a racial slur. Harry recalls that he shot some video of him and his fellow cadets as they killed time in the airport. I panned the group, gave a running commentary of each lad, and when I came to my fellow cadet, a good friend named Ahmed Raza Khan, a very good friend, he makes note of that.
Of course.
I said, my little Paki friend, and Harry writes before adding that I didn't even know the word was a slur.
I feel like it wasn't for a while. Like some words have become recent slurs.
I feel like that one had some sauce on it already.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's different in England. It's like, I mean, you can call someone a cunt. That's fine.
Yeah, but I think more importantly, like, you didn't need to bring that up.
No, what's the end game here for the book?
I think to kill all the momentum. I think to sell books, obviously.
But like, he needs the book money.
He does. I think they need money. I think they got probably 85 people like bleeding them dry right now.
I wonder. Yeah, maybe they're like. Maybe that's.
I'm telling you, they probably have like 85 people doing publicity, and every single one of them was trying to stop.
Or is it that
book
he's
from
cut?
coming out.
Or is it that he's cut off from like the family?
Well, he is, but he's the CEO of Netflix right now. If you don't know that.
But like, does he not have? Yeah. But like, does he?
Him
not,
and Obama are the co-CEOs of Netflix.
He doesn't have some sort of trust that it was like just his regardless.
I don't know. That's a good question, but I think he
maybe he spent it all.
Sort of got cut off on some stuff. Yeah, he's been spending it all on fucking coke and head at the back.
I would just be
pubs.
like, look, royal family. I'm just gonna give out all your crazy secrets. You must know tons. Like,
That's how you
give me
end up
money
dead, though, probably.
Yeah, but they're not gonna.
I think you have NDAs on all that sort of stuff.
I wonder if can your family make.
I'm
you
getting
sign
into the
an
NDA game. I think that's the game you want to be in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyways.
That'd be a good podcast. On a podcast like this, you have a guest and you make them sign an NDA at the beginning of the podcast.
I have a
Just to
I have a
confuse
shirt
them?
that says NDA and it says no dick in the asshole.
Wouldn't that be the most confusing? You get on a podcast and they go like, you have to sign an NDA right now, and then you're like, the beginning of a podcast.
Everything that anything that you heard on this podcast.
You're not allowed to talk about anything you're about to say.
Okay, we've on the Patreon. I'm going to do this article about Andrew Tate, and then the podcast Overload, urinating on passengers. Pretty funny mother and story. So if you want to head over, patreon.com/theboyscast. New episode every week. Come hang out with us. We appreciate everyone who subscribes. These are the people that allow us to spend money on studio and employees. They are the top Bs.
Top Bs. The top Bs.
And the top Fs. So appreciate you all. Peace.
Later.